Good morning. Today with the garden groomer, we are installing a cottage style full sun garden in the backyard for this client of ours. We already went through all of the plants that we'll be using for today in another video. But before I started unloading plants, I kind of wanted to show you the front yard of this client's garden. We came in earlier this year, maybe August, July, August, I'd have to look, and installed this massive shade garden for our clients. We'll pop up a photo on the screen of what it looked like before we came, but spoiler, it was just lawn. But we came in and filled this bed with, oh gosh, I don't know, a couple hundred perennials, everything from hostas to bleeding hearts to carex to coral bells, lungworts, a little bit of everything. But she's full, she's jam-packed. We are in early October right now. We've already had some overnights in the low 40s, so these plants are beginning to go a little dormant, but everything is looking great. I'm super happy with it. It looks awesome. I can't wait to see it next year. But now we're gonna start unloading plants, placing them in the backyard, so when the crew gets here, we can just start digging holes and dive in. We do normally have a wagon, but the crew has it right now. Work smarter, not harder. Yeah, sure. A little rust never hurt anybody. You should always have your tetanus shot anyway when you're doing gardening. So pretty. So we just got all the plants unloaded. But my team just let me know that we're out of heavy-duty scissors to cut the landscape fabrics. Now I have to go to the store, get some fresh scissors, and then we'll come back, place plants, and start digging holes. Just texting the crew to tell them to come like 15 minutes late so I can go get a coffee after we get some scissors. Menards, my home away from home. I love this place. I mean, 13 bucks, those are cheap scissors. $4.99, now that is our price range. We'll kill those in a day. I wonder what the difference is. Well, we'll get 2 of each and see which ones the crew likes better or which ones we don't lose first. I just wanna celebrate. Oh yeah, see, these are the scissors we normally buy, but they're like $18 versus 13. We're just gonna roll with these and see what happens. I'm ready for a warm bevy. Okay, so before the crew gets here, I'm gonna work on placing the plants around where I want them. We are working with a lot of underground tree roots from our current client and the neighbors next door. So things might not get placed exactly where I want them to, but whenever I'm placing plants, I always start with either your evergreens, trees and shrubs, just because those are gonna be kind of the biggest and like the pillars of the garden, and then I work my way down in layers. You want the tall stuff in the back, the short stuff in the front. So I'm just gonna start grabbing stuff and moving things around after I have another sip of my coffee. We got our junipers. I want them up against the fence, like one. This tallest thing we've got are the anemones, anemone, orange Jobert. In groups of odd numbers for one, so 3s and 5s. And I always just find when you plant them in what we call a drift, where they're in a big grouping, it just has better impact, more impact. More is better, always. None of that less is more stuff. The whirling butterflies. Oh, got a little bit of poison ivy back here. That's fun. We do come across poison ivy quite a bit. When gardening, we usually try to do our best to avoid it, because once we touch poison ivy with our tools and our gloves, that poison ivy oil stays on those tools and gloves for at least 6 to 12 months after we've touched it. So we usually try and avoid it and leave it alone. If it is in our way and we do have to pull it, we'll do like the doggy poop bag method, where we just take a plastic bag, turn it inside out, and kind of pull it away just so our crew stays safe. This poison ivy is like in the fence. You can kind of see it here. You got your leaves of 3. The center is usually pretty red. This is probably just starting to turn dormant for the season, although when it does, it turns like a bright red color. There's even more down there. But luckily everything's up against the fence, so I think the crew should be able to leave it, although I will have them come through and do a light weeding in this bed. Like we'll get rid of this dandelion. There's a couple more dandelions down the fence, so we'll get rid of those. Oh, I hate poison ivy. Okay, asters. I like to tuck them in with other stuff to hide their base, because their base just doesn't really make anyone happy. Next, I'm probably gonna do some of the sedum, because we have quite a bit of it. This is the brilliant sedum. It's got that pretty pink, blush pink color. So if I plant them around the asters, yeah, a little something like that. I like the layers. Bump, bump, bump. Casualty. It's okay, it's actually like the perfect plant to have a casualty. I love this about sedum. So sedums are kind of like succulents, or even if one breaks off, I can actually just shove this in the ground and this will start to root and it'll be another plant. So if I have a couple stems, whoops, that snap off, I just pop them in the ground while I'm planting the rest of it and it'll be just fine. I might kind of skip ahead a little bit and do some of this border. I want to plant some low stuff around this old bump out. You know, for now, if they came in with like a really big pot or a bird bath, it'd be pretty cute. Up on a pedestal. Yeah. Okay, ground covers. Okay, so we realized that we're running low on biotone, Espoma's biotone. We use biotone in every new plant and perennial that we install, as well as our annual containers. We only have like 2 half bags left, and so I'm gonna have to run up to the nursery to grab some more. Let's go get some biotone and try to not get distracted. We are at Knoyer Garden Center. Hi, honey. So this is one of my favorite places to come for annuals. You do pay for it. They can be a little expensive, but they're just the best looking stuff. But they do perennials, shrubs, annuals, pretty much anything you'd need, and it's beautiful. I mean, look at these mums, they're huge. Look at that. Massive, just massive. That's my color too, I love that mauve. We probably have to go to the landscape supplier to go get like a bag or 2 of mulch so we can mulch over that tree, the red bud. We're gonna buy a lot because it's planting season and we'll go through it. I'm a survivor. I like when they have good music playing in there. All right, let's load this and go get some mulch. We're at Cleaner Image. It's the landscape supply place that we use. They're family owned. I love them so much. But we're just gonna come in and grab, honestly, like 1 bag of brown mulch to mulch underneath that tree. So this should be hopefully really quick. Now that we've got our hole full of water. Oh yeah, look at that. Boom. Boop, boop, boop. There you go, little buddy. Cute. All right. We can probably fix the mulcher on those perennials. We've got the rest of this half bag. Okay, so just a few hours later, I think we started at like 9 and it's currently, see how quick we did that, 2. Not terrible. Crew is done. They're leaving. We got everything in the ground. Everything's been watered. And I thought we would just kind of walk you around and show what it looks like once everything got planted. Starting over here, you can't really notice a huge difference. I don't think we really talked about this to begin with. The client had an existing shade garden and we just came in and filled in a couple of gaps with some of the hostas that he already had on the side of his house. Like I think these were 2 of the ones that came from the side of the house. There was just some blank spots back here and he had hostas that were already really big, and fall is a great time for transplanting and splitting. So we just thought we would snag some and pop them in here just to fill out the space a little bit. But then as we go back here, this kind of starts all of our new installs. We've got this nice hedge of catmint right here. Behind it, we popped in some coneflowers and a columbine. And then as we move in here, we've just got a mixture of the sedum, an aster, some gaura, more coneflowers. And like I said earlier, we went through all of these perennials in another video. So if you want more information on them, check out the video that we probably posted before this one. I actually really like this view. You can just kind of see up the garden. It just looks really, really nice. It looks full already, which is the goal. I always like to overplant my gardens for a few reasons. One, it's natural. A few things might die for any number of reasons. So when you overplant a garden, if 3 things die, it's not like detrimental, versus if you only plant 5 things and 2 of them die, it's very obvious. So I like to come in and just overplant a garden. And plus I really like to install gardens that look like they've been there for a while. You know, when you come in and you just plant like 5 new things, just doesn't have the impact as 50 new things. So this client was gracious and gave us a nice budget to be able to come in and just sort of fill all the holes and gaps. Like I said earlier, we got our tall stuff in the back, medium growers in the middle here, and then our ground covers up front. We made sure to do a mixture of spring blooming, summer blooming, and fall blooming. And then of course to have the winter interest, we put in these junipers here. Just will stay this like nice silvery blue all winter long. We do like to leave our plant tags on there so the client can learn what plants they have. Looks like the poison ivy got avoided, luckily. These hydrangeas, they already had existing in this space. We've got oak leaf hydrangeas here. And I guess these guys took on quite a bit of damage. From what the client told me, the neighbors had a big tree removed, it fell in the garden, smashed these hydrangeas, and I mean, girl, they're making a comeback. They look great. They even have blooms on them. And we've got another bigger hydrangea over here too. But yeah, that's about it. That was a little install. It's pretty good for what, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, like what, 4 hours? Yes, I had to count on my fingers. Make fun of me. Pretty good. And so now we'll go ahead, we're done for the day, we're packing up. I'm gonna email the client over an aftercare and watering program for their new plants so they know how to care for them once we leave, and we'll be back next year to see how everything's doing. That's all for today. We'll see you in the next one.